Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, August 9th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple of clarifications. First off, the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, TLRY. Huge move today on the news, and you got a lot of people watching this one. It's a popular price range down below $5, and then you have just absolutely massive volume, which you can see down here. So again, you got to think that a lot of people will be watching it. Although from a charting standpoint right now, not a whole lot to be said because the breakout, or at least this initial breakout, has already happened. So what happened was you had this nice little pattern here form. That's what we would call a bull pennant pattern. And then late afternoon, you can see right there, the pattern has now broken out, which leads to a question. Okay, Clay, why are you even talking about this if we've missed the move? Well, that's a fair question, but that assumes that no other moves will ever come along, and that would just be a false conclusion there, because new patterns can always develop, and that's the whole idea of a watch list, to find unique, to find interesting situations, and not randomly rush out and start buying stuff, but to watch it. So if you find this sort of price range worthwhile, this sort of, good volatility and volume worthwhile, then definitely keep an eye on it. Now, I'm not saying this will occur, but for all we know, maybe the price pulls back here and does something like this. So you'd have a situation where you would have a pullback, but then all of a sudden you can draw a nice little bull flag pattern there. And then out of the bull flag, the price ultimately, breaks back to the upside, and there's, your trade right there. Again, I have no idea if that will occur, but the point here being is the ingredients are there for a very good potential future recipe because you got the volatility and you got the volume. So if you like these sorts of ingredients, then definitely keep an eye on it moving forward. Next one, GRRR. I like this because there's a very well-defined level. So before I go any further, I don't want to make this seem like this is a great discovery or that I have a special talent. Nothing like that. I assure you a lot of people are going to be watching this level. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. And the level, in my opinion, that a whole lot of people are watching is all about that pink line right there, which on my chart denotes a very well-known, the very famous 200 period moving average. You can see it's already acted as resistance once right there. So while nothing is guaranteed, my point here is that is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price comes back up to that level and then breaks through it, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible outcome that could play out. As far as levels of support are concerned, I definitely keep a close eye on that purple line down there, which is the 50 period moving average. You can see already during that opening 30 minutes, price came down there, found some support before turning itself back around. So very well-defined levels, and now it's really just a question of, are there going to be some potential self-fulfilling prophecies that take shape with these areas? We'll see what happens with it on Wednesday. Next one here, TTOO, and on that same exact topic of self-fulfilling prophecies, we have another one of these right here where you got to think that a whole bunch of people are watching right up there at the 32-cent mark. So if you go through the history of the chart, you can see, generally speaking, acted as resistance, even today, never quite hit it, but got within the ballpark, rejected it, and then right now slightly below it and has rejected it. So while there are no guarantees, is it valid, is it plausible that if the price can make its way up there and then get the break up through that level at 32 cents, that level in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? In my opinion, that is definitely a valid and plausible scenario. So if you like penny stocks and if you like to play these potential self-fulfilling prophecy breakouts, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, PLTR. Been tracking this one on a very routine basis, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the previous videos, but been talking about that red line there as the key resistance, and that level still holds true. It did just have earnings, and you can see looking like a kind of a lot of buy the rumor, sell the news, but there was the gap down, that opening 30 minutes there, just a big, nasty candle. But to give credit where credit's due, there was a very nice recovery. When you stop and think about the fact that at one point the price was all the way down here, but the price did manage to at least battle back up to there. That has been a good move. However, with that being said, I'd still be very skeptical of it. And the reason for that is it's still down below some very key levels of resistance. Resistance number one, the trend line itself. Resistance number two, that pink line, the 200 period moving average. And then resistance number three, that purple line, the 50 period moving average. Now, I'm not saying that because this is the case, that this move right here is for sure dead cat bounce and for sure is going to roll back over. I'm just saying that, yes, that's a good move, but I wouldn't get overly excited about it until the price can prove itself, which brings me, okay, Clay, how are you defining prove itself? By being able to get above and maintain above all these other areas of resistance. So yes, nice bounce, but let's see if there's any sort of genuine power behind it. Next one, AMC had earnings and what we would call a gap and trap. So the price closed right here on Monday, opened up right there, hence the gap up, went up a little bit, some poor souls bought right there, and then down it went during that same opening 30 minutes. Now, does that mean the entire chart's destroyed? It does not. If I squeeze things down here, you can see that the overall trend is still upwards. There's nice, I think the easiest way, the easiest way to see that is right there, that pink line there, 200 period moving average has a very nice upward slope to it. Even the purple line has an upward slope to it. So again, from an overall standpoint, the chart's still perfectly fine. But this is where my job gets a little tricky from a presentation standpoint because it's about perspective. I understand that if you're a day trader and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes, well then yes, from that standpoint, the chart is a train wreck. So is this a bad or good looking chart? That's really all going to depend on what your what your personal strategy was going in. As far as levels of resistance are concerned, key level going to be right there at $5.28. Going through the history of things, you can see this area acted as a former resistance right there. And then multiple times over the past couple of days, both there and there was this false breakout. But other than that, the price has really struggled with that area. So keep an eye on that. And then as far as levels of support are concerned, first key level going to be that purple line there, 50 period moving average, did a good job of holding strong there. But even if that level doesn't quite hold up, then the level that I would definitely consider more of a must-hold level is that pink line down there, the 200 period moving average. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one, BURU, and this is a hideous, nasty looking chart. But as you longer time viewers know, I'm going to say next, there can be opportunity in the ugly. There can be opportunity in these sorts of situations. But I will also say that if you are not good at managing risk, if you don't like to honor stop losses, then you shouldn't even be trading, but that's a whole other topic. But you definitely shouldn't even be trying to play these situations because the whole idea here is that, yes, this is a nasty, nasty looking chart. Down it goes, down it goes. But now the price has approached a couple of interesting levels, which you've heard me already talk about. That purple line there, 50 period, pink line there, 200 period moving average. And you can see these lines are almost the same thing. And you can see that the price is essentially right at these levels, which brings about a valid question. Is there going to be some sort of bounce here where as finally, after everybody capitulates, waves the white flag, then the market decides to turn around? Now, of course, that is not guaranteed, hence the comments about managing risk and all that, because this thing could very well continue to just bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed, and that's very real. But that is a two-sided coin because this thing could also get a very nice bounce to the upside. So relative to what was being risked, you could be looking at a good, solid upside reward. So if you like these risk-reward scenarios, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, LCID, and very, very nice move. And like, what was that? I think TLRY. Can't say that there's a huge setup here, at least from a breakout standpoint, because the breakout has now already happened. The breakout occurred when it got up through that pink line, which you now know is the 200 period moving average, and a classic example here of a former area of resistance, now acting as support both there once and then there twice. So more of the story there. In the near term, the key level of support going to be right there around the 702 mark, which again is that 200 period moving average for more of an overarching level. So it's not like the price has to stay above that pink line. If it doesn't hold above it, then the next level that I would consider certainly more of a must-hold level down there, that 50 period moving average. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, let's see. It looks like the next potential battleground going to be right there around $7.30, and then after that, right up there at $7.45. So if this momentum continues, definitely keep an eye on that. But like I said, as far as like beautiful setups, nothing really to report. But again, does the price maybe pull back here and then gives you the excuse to do something like this? Okay, you got the pullback, you got the huge surge up right there, so you got the bull flag pattern, and then you get an opportunity to potentially play a bull flag breakout into these potential areas of resistance. I have no idea, but that is certainly a plausible outcome, plausible way to approach this. So going back to the whole analogy of ingredients, you got good ingredients, you got volatility, you got volume, so let's see if it can create some sort of potential bullish recipe. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and this will mean a bit more to those of you that watched the video previously, but if you did, you hopefully remember me talking about that area down there at 245 as support, and I'll turn this into a quick plug to get signed up for that free class. I mean, check it out, opening 30 minutes, and I promise, I have not moved that line at all. If you don't believe me, I'm not offended. Just go back and watch yesterday's video, and you can see right there, what a beautiful bounce right off of that line that I put into place yesterday. Now, are charts perfect? They're not, but are they a worthwhile tool? Absolutely. So again, go get signed up for that free training. So more of the story here, moving forward, nothing has changed from the support side of things. Still all about the 245 mark. In terms of areas of resistance, a couple different ways you could look at it. First key level, just to get that line in play right there, you have essentially an area of resistance right there. But if you think, I think that's a little unnecessary because not that far away, you then have that purple line there, 50-period moving average, which you can also kind of view as a trend line that it's going to draw itself for you. I can see that perspective, or who knows, maybe you want to have both on there. But like I said, more of the story, those I would say are going to be the two main areas of resistance, so keep an eye on those. And then again, key level of support on Tesla, 245. Next one here, GRRI. I should have totally put this at a different spot in the watch list, but think back to that whole scenario where I talked about there can be ugly, opportunity in the ugly, and that's what we have here. So again, if you're not good at managing risk and all that sort of stuff, then you should not be touching these ones. But you can see here, very, very nasty move from where the price was up here all the way down here, but you can see right where the price has now started at least go sideways right there at those two lines, the 50-period moving average and the 200-period moving average, which brings about, an interesting level of potential support right there at around $3.82. So keep an eye on that. And I wish I could say trading was as easy as, the price started to go sideways, therefore this is for sure the bottom, and this thing is for sure going to bounce. If only it were that easy. But does it become way more plausible now to think that it could be a potential bottom because it started to go sideways at these moving averages? Absolutely. So if you're willing to manage that risk, then from a risk-reward scenario, this is an interesting opportunity. Next one here, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to fall, this one will also fall, and vice versa. If you believe it'll rise, this one will also rise. And today, good solid bounce. So I want to get these levels out of here as it served its purpose for now. And really the main dynamic here that I'm not saying you as a viewer are thinking this, but I know that a lot of people are, is, you got to give credit's due. Look at this nice upwards channel. There's no doubt about it. You can't refute the fact that there is this nice upwards channel. But from a bigger picture point of view, a question that needs to be asked is, okay, yeah, that's correct. There is an upwards channel. But what was happening before this upwards channel? Well, you had this big drop right here, which has now allowed me to draw a bear flag pattern. Now, just like if there's a bullish pattern does not guarantee the price is going to go upwards, the same is true for a bearish pattern. Does not mean that the price is going to actually drop to the downside. But my point here is that, yes, this is a nice move, but don't get overly excited because very realistically, it could get a break right back to the downside and get the the bear flag breakdown. So I'd be skeptical until the price can at least prove itself a bit more, proving itself being not only breaking above that purple line, but staying above it. Because you can see right there, the price broke above it yesterday, late day, but was not able to maintain above it. So be bullish, sure, because there was that upwards channel, but I'd be very, very skeptical on the bullish side of things because in all actuality, you just have a bear flag pattern. But if the price can get back above that purple line, then things start to look a whole lot more interesting. As far as areas of support, nothing fancy here. Just down at $40 based on the question of, okay, where did the bleeding finally stop today? And will the bleeding stop at that $40 mark? So like I said, nothing complicated behind that logic right there. But yeah, we'll see if this bear flag pattern leads to a break to the downside or not. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for that free class. It'll be in a couple days, Thursday, August 10th. At 7 p.m. Eastern time, so I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below. That helps out the channel. That communicates to me that you're enjoying. And as long as I know that you are enjoying, I'll continue to put in the time and effort to get these top 10 watch list videos out to you. So again, hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. Take care, and go get signed up for that free class.